What if the pursuit of perfection isn't the path to happiness, but the very thing pulling you further away from it? Imagine this. You're climbing a mountain, one step at a time, convinced that the summit will bring you the peace, fulfillment, and love you've been searching for. But with every step, the peak seems to move farther and farther away. The air becomes thinner, your strength fades, and yet you keep climbing, because the world has told you that perfection is the only way to be worthy. Welcome, seeker, to a story of shadows and light, where we peel back the layers of perfectionism to uncover its hidden spiritual cost. In this journey, we'll explore why the pursuit of flawlessness, so glorified by society, can feel more like a slow unraveling of the soul. We'll ask questions few dare to face. What does it truly cost us to chase perfection? And what might we gain if we let it go? From the impossible standards of beauty to the endless chase for success, the world constantly whispers in our ears, be better, do better, achieve more. Social media feeds us highlight reels of curated lives, pushing us to compare our raw, unfiltered selves to illusions of perfection. But what no one tells you is this: perfection is a mirage. The closer you think you're getting to it, the more it disappears into the horizon. Spiritually, the stakes are even higher. While striving for perfection might seem noble on the surface, it often disconnects us from our truest selves. Perfectionism isn't about self-improvement, it's about self-rejection, a subtle but powerful belief that we aren't enough as we are. And as we drown in the pursuit of impossible ideals, we lose sight of what's real, the present moment, the joy of simply being, and the beauty of our imperfections. Today, we're diving into the secret spiritual price of chasing perfection, a cost that goes far beyond sleepless nights and burnout. Together, we'll uncover the hidden truths behind this endless chase and discover how letting go of perfection can open the door to peace, self-acceptance, and even enlightenment. So, take a deep breath and step into this journey with me. The truth is waiting if you're ready to face it. Perfectionism is a seductive trap. It whispers promises of worthiness, success, and fulfillment, but often delivers only exhaustion, self-doubt, and disconnection. Many of us embark on the quest for perfection because we believe it will bring us closer to the lives we dream of. But what if perfection is an illusion, a mirage that leads us further from ourselves and the peace we long for? Let's start with a simple truth. Perfection is unattainable. Whether it's the flawless image of success we project on social media, the ideal body we see in magazines, or the perfectly crafted career we're told to pursue, these standards are human constructs, created by society, upheld by culture, and reinforced by comparison. And while striving to improve ourselves is natural, perfectionism is different. It's not about growth. It's about control. It's about masking our imperfections to fit an impossible mold, even if it costs us our well-being. This relentless pursuit begins early. We're taught to seek approval, to get the best grades, win the top awards, and outperform our peers. As we grow older, the stakes rise. We chase career success, the perfect relationship, the flawless home, or the unattainable, ideal life. But the closer we get to these goals, the more hollow they often feel. Why? Because the more we achieve, the higher the bar is set. Perfection is a moving target. It keeps us chasing, but never allows us to arrive. And yet, the cost of this chase isn't just mental or emotional. Spiritually, perfectionism can be devastating. At its core, it disconnects us from ourselves. When we strive to be perfect, we reject the messy, imperfect, and authentic parts of who we are. We tell ourselves we're only worthy of love and belonging when we've met a certain standard. But the truth is, we're already enough, our flaws, struggles, and humanity included. In Buddhist philosophy, the concept of shunyata, or emptiness, teaches us that nothing has inherent perfection or imperfection. Everything simply is. The pursuit of perfection, however, creates attachment, a clinging to an idea of how things should be, and with attachment comes suffering. When we can't meet the impossible standards we've set for ourselves, we feel like failures, and when we do meet them, we fear losing what we've achieved. It's an endless cycle of dissatisfaction. Perfectionism also disconnects us from the present moment. Instead of experiencing life as it unfolds, we fixate on what could be better or what went wrong. For example, think about the last time you worked on a project. Did you spend more time enjoying the creative process or obsessing over tiny flaws no one else would notice? When we chase perfection, we miss the joy of simply being, of creating, connecting, and living fully in the moment. Moreover, perfectionism can blind us to the beauty of imperfection itself. In Japanese philosophy, there's a concept called wabi-sabi, which celebrates the beauty of imperfection and impermanence. A cracked teacup, for example, is not flawed. It tells a story of use and care, making it more meaningful than a pristine, unused one. Similarly, our imperfections, our scars, mistakes, and struggles are what make us human. They're not things to hide or fix, but parts of us to embrace. Yet perfectionism thrives in a world that glorifies achievement and flawless appearances. Social media amplifies this by presenting curated lives, filtered photos, and highlight reels that rarely reflect the messy realities behind the scenes. We compare our behind-the-scenes struggles to others' polished exteriors and believe we're falling short. This comparison fuels shame, a powerful emotion that convinces us we're not good enough unless we achieve more, look better, or do everything perfectly. The spiritual price of chasing perfection is that it pulls us away from the truth of who we are. Instead of embracing our wholeness, we become fragmented, trying to mold ourselves into someone we think we should be, and this fragmentation leads to disconnection from ourselves, from others, and from the divine. When we prioritize perfection, we sacrifice vulnerability, the very thing that allows us to connect deeply with others. We also lose the ability to see ourselves as inherently worthy, regardless of our accomplishments. But the most profound spiritual cost of perfectionism is its ability to mask the lessons life is trying to teach us. In Tibetan Buddhism, suffering is seen not as punishment, but as a teacher, a mirror reflecting the parts of ourselves that need healing and growth. When we're consumed by the need to be perfect, we avoid these lessons, hiding behind the facade of success or flawlessness. We miss the opportunity to grow, to learn, and to experience the humility that comes from embracing our humanity. So what keeps us chasing perfection, even when it costs so much? Fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of rejection. Perfectionism convinces us that if we're flawless, we can avoid these fears. But in truth, the opposite is often the case. The more we chase perfection, the more we feel like imposters, terrified that others will discover we're not as perfect as we pretend to be. The perfectionist's greatest fear isn't failure, it's being seen as human. Breaking free from perfectionism isn't about lowering our standards or giving up on growth. It's about shifting our perspective. Instead of striving for an impossible ideal, we can strive for authenticity. Instead of rejecting our flaws, we can embrace them as part of our journey. And instead of fearing failure, we can see it as a stepping stone to wisdom. If the pursuit of perfection is a mountain, then perhaps the greatest revelation is this: you were never meant to climb it. You were meant to stand still, look around, and embrace the beauty of the journey. Perfectionism is a trap that pulls us into a never-ending cycle of striving and suffering. It promises happiness, but at the cost of our peace, our authenticity, and our connection to the present moment. The truth is, perfection doesn't exist. The cracks in the teacup, the so-called flaws in your character, and even the mistakes you've made, they're all part of what makes you uniquely you. When we chase perfection, we miss out on the beauty of imperfection, the richness of being human, and the lessons life is trying to teach us. Letting go of perfection doesn't mean giving up on your dreams or abandoning your goals. It means freeing yourself from the unrealistic expectations that weigh you down. It's about striving for growth, not flawlessness. It's about allowing yourself to make mistakes, to stumble, and to learn along the way. Most importantly, it's about recognizing that your worth is not defined by what you achieve, but by who you are. Spiritually, the act of letting go is transformative. When you release the need to be perfect, you create space for peace, creativity, and connection. You begin to see yourself and others with compassion instead of judgment. You step out of the endless cycle of striving and into the present moment, the only place where life truly happens. So how can you begin to break free from perfectionism? Start by practicing radical self-acceptance. Remind yourself daily, I am enough, just as I am. Practice mindfulness to anchor yourself in the present moment, where perfection becomes irrelevant. Celebrate progress, not perfection, and view failure as a stepping stone, not a roadblock. If this message resonates with you, take a moment to reflect. What areas of your life are held captive by perfectionism? What would happen if you chose to embrace imperfection instead? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story. If this journey into the hidden cost of chasing perfection has helped you see things differently, share it with someone who might need to hear it too. Don't forget to subscribe for more explorations of life's greatest challenges and mysteries. Together, we can learn to live not as perfect beings, but as beautifully imperfect ones. Thank you for watching.